Welcome to the Greater Than Business podcast, where it's all about creating an amazingly successful business without sacrificing your quality of life, because life should be greater than business. And now, here is your host, Courtney Bedore.
This is episode 46 of the Greater Than Business podcast, and today we are going to be talking more about boundaries. So if you haven't already listened, one of my earlier episodes, which I will link in the show notes, we talked all about business boundaries and why you need them, why you should have them. But I was actually recently inspired by a quote that I saw online. I do not know the source of the quote, but what it essentially was is boundaries are not my way of keeping others out, but they are a way or the path for letting in what I want and need. So basically, by saying no to things that you are not aligned with, then you are allowing those yes moments to come in. So I wanted to do an episode on boundaries because it is one of the biggest things that I struggle with personally and in business. I feel like I'm constantly needing to do more, be more, kind of leave my comfort zone in order to do more. But what I realized is that by me saying yes to all of these things, what happens is that I lose sight of what I really want and what I really want time and space for in my life and my business. And that is why I wanted to do this episode today, because I believe firmly that in order for you to have the business and the life that you really, really want, you need to be able to shut the door on things that aren't valuable to you. So you really need to sit down and think, what are the things that you want to bring into your life? And what do you need to say no to in order to leave room for those things? Because if you're saying yes to everything, then you are essentially closing the door to other opportunities. So even though you may think you're opening the door to all opportunities, you're actually closing it because you can't spend the time on certain elements of your life as deeply as you might want to if you hadn't have said yes to everything. So it's all about prioritizing what you want to be doing in your business and in your life and building boundaries around that. So it's not as simple as in the last episode where I talked about boundaries. We were dealing with very concrete boundaries, such as you can start working at 9 a.m. and stop working at noon. That is a very strict boundary. What I'm talking about this time is those other things that come into your life. So, such as going to a birthday party. You maybe don't really want to go to that person's birthday party. You've got other things on the go that you would rather be spending time with. So it's okay to say no. Make up for saying no by doing something else with that person that better fits into your schedule, that better aligns with your choices and the actions that you want to take. And by setting that up, then you could actually spend, say, instead of going to a birthday party where you're not even really going to be able to see the person whose birthday it is and spend that one-on-one time with them, maybe you can take them out for dinner at a later date and just have that valuable time with them. So you're still keeping that relationship, but yet on the day of the party, if you had something really important for yourself that you should be doing or want to be doing, then it's okay to say no. Go focus on that and then spend time with that person in a different situation or by doing something else with them. So you're still building that relationship. However, you're doing it on your own terms, and you're doing it in a way that feels better for you, because it's okay to be selfish and it's okay to put yourself first. And you can't be a champion of everything if you are not setting boundaries to look after yourself. And I think that's a big thing that I want to kind of stress in this episode, is that boundaries are a way of opening a pathway for the things that you want and need by saying no to the things that you might not want in your life at that moment. So I know with everything that's going on in the world right now, it's really, really important for everybody to be able to say no and to be able to really only do what matters to them. So it's been a stressful couple of months, and we all are trying our very best to do our very best. And it gets really hard sometimes when you are feeling the pressure of everything. So I'm going to focus specifically on the health crisis that we are dealing with currently with COVID-19 and all of that other stuff that is amplifying because of the virus. And I've noticed that people are being put into really uncomfortable situations because they keep saying yes to everything. So everything is different right now. We're all at home still. And if you are in the States and one of the states that has opened up, then obviously you're not completely at home still, but you're definitely navigating in a world that's different than what we're used to. And if you are out protesting and doing all of that stuff, that's amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. But this is more focused on the people that aren't actually able to go out yet. So I've noticed over the past couple months, a lot of people have been trying to do everything. So I know for me personally, I'm trying to run a business. I'm trying to look after my household. My husband is working from home. Both my kids are home from school, and we are now homeschooling them. And it's been a lot put onto our plates because of how the world has shifted. And it was definitely overwhelming for me, especially a person who gets very anxious. And I realized that I couldn't keep saying yes to everything. And I had to really put in place some boundaries that allowed me to continue doing my business, that allowed me to continue looking after my household, as well as allowed me to keep educating my children in the best way that we could. And for us, it ended up that we said no to quite a few things in order to keep our own sanity. And we had to say no to trying to keep up with the amount of schoolwork that was being sent home, or emailed, I guess, not really sent home. Things like that. We just kind of said, like, as long as we're doing the best we can, that is good enough right now. And for work, I have definitely been messaging some of my clients and saying, okay, hold up. I need to take a breather. I need to take a day off because it's getting to be all a little bit too much. And I needed to say no to some projects in order to put myself first, because I could have said yes and I could have got the extra money that comes along with it, all of that other stuff. But I realized that that wasn't actually what I needed to be focusing on. And that by saying yes to these other projects, that I was then saying no to my kids, no to my husband, no to my own business. And that wasn't something that I wanted to be a part of. So I really want you guys to sit down and kind of reflect on everything that we've all gone through over the last couple months and see where you could have said no or where you did say no and what happened after you said no to something. What other opportunities opened up for you? And I want you to be conscious of this moving forward, because every time you say no to allow yourself to do something that you really want to do, then you're kind of not really rewarded for it, but you get more out of it. And I know for me and my own business from now on, I'm going to be a lot more selfish. Not selfish in a bad way, but selfish in a new way where I'm going to make sure that I'm valuing myself, my health, my family, my house, my home, my heart, everything over other things that I just don't need to be worried about. And some of those other things are just extra projects, appearing on other people's podcasts, collaborations that I'm just not 100% into, things like that, where it takes a lot of time and energy. And right now I'm already spread very thin. And I am currently making space in my days and all of my aspects of my life. I'm trying to make space to learn and to make myself a better person in general. And that is where my focus is right now in my own life. And I have to say no to some business opportunities if they're not aligning with what I want to be doing. And I think that it's really important as a business owner to step back and really think about where your priorities lie, what boundaries you can put up, and why you are closing certain doors and what you would like to make space for by closing those doors. So I'm going to leave you again with the quote, which boundaries are not my way of keeping others out. They are the path for letting what I want and need in. So I am going to link to this quote that I found on Instagram, which inspired this episode. I'm going to link to that in the show notes, and you can find them at greaterthanbusiness.com/046. And there I'll have a link also to our business boundaries workbook that you can download, and it will help you to set up those business boundaries, the more stricter ones that I was talking about at the beginning. But it'll also allow you to really think about why you want to close the door on certain things and really open the door to other opportunities. And that sometimes those other opportunities aren't necessarily coming your way because you've shut the door by taking on other projects or doing other things that just don't leave you that space in order to do the things that you feel really, really passionate about. So that's all I have for today. I hope that you guys are staying safe and that you are finding these simple joys in your own situation right now, in your own business, and really truly making the best of it, and also doing your part to make the world a better place for all of us. And I really want to push that message home right now, that you have to start by taking care of yourself first, as well as spreading that to your community and really, truly trying to make this world a better place as a whole. And that starts with honestly making yourself feel better. So be selfish. do those things that you need to do in order to recharge your battery. It kind of goes back to the whole making sure that your bucket is full before you try to fill up others. And that is kind of where this whole boundaries conversation comes in, is that you really need to be aware of the opportunities that are coming in that aren't necessarily the most helpful for you as a person, but then also look for opportunities that can push you to grow and really better your situation and make your impact more valuable. And the only way that you can really, really, truly do that is by getting clear on what your boundaries are, what you want to be bringing in, and what you want to be pushing out. And I think that that is a good message for today. So I hope that you guys are staying safe, and I will talk to you again next week for episode 47.
Thanks for listening to the Greater Than Business podcast at www.greaterthanbusiness.com.